Warning: this video contains major spoilers for all of Potterverse, especially Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Click away now or forever hold your peace. This video will be divided into 3 parts. Credence is not a Dumbledore. Who is Credence Barebone? Wouldn't it be cool? Part 1. Credence Barebone is not Aurelius Dumbledore. What we know of the Dumbledore family so far is what we learned from the book Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. The purpose of the Dumbledore family storyline is to humanize Albus Dumbledore, exposing his character motivations and failings, giving us a better look in how he came to be who he is, or was. All stories agree on one account. Dumbledore family members were Kendra and Percival, the parents, Albus, Aberforth and Ariana, the children. The infamous 900-paged book by Rita Skeeter, The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore, builds dramatic tension in this plotline. The story in short is, Ariana was attacked by Muggle boys, Percival attacked those Muggle boys in turn, which landed him in Azkaban, Ariana was hidden away, Kendra died under unresolved circumstances, leaving Albus to care for the family. Ariana's untimely death prompted Grindelwald, then a close friend of Albus, to leave the country in a hurry and left the 2 brothers, Albus and Aberforth, estranged. Rita then speculates about the mysteries, painting a dark picture of the Muggle-hating, wizard-proud Dumbledore family. Father, a violent criminal, known Muggle attacker, mother, a proud witch imprisoning her embarrassing squib daughter, disturbed younger brother, and worst of all, Albus, plotting revolution with a known dark wizard to establish wizard dominance over Muggles, willing to sacrifice even his own sister for the greater good. True account of the family finally comes from Aberforth. This account is meant to resolve the tension and give answers to the age-old mysteries Rita dug up. Aberforth describes a magical affliction Ariana suffers because of the Muggle boy attack. His description sounds very much like Ariana developing an obscurus. Her uncontrolled magic outbursts are why Ariana is hidden away. Unfortunately, in one of the outbursts, Ariana ends up accidentally killing her mother. Albus then returns to take care of the family, only to grow bored of the mundane life in Godric's Hollow and infatuated with the talented and dangerous Gellert Grindelwald, their old neighbor's visiting nephew. His disregard for Ariana prompts Aberforth to confront him with the truth of Grindelwald and their obsession with the Deathly Hallows, causing a fight that results in Ariana's death. Finally, we hear the same story from Albus himself, where he shows the depth of his regret about what happened and admits to the greatest failing of his life, not taking better care of the only 2 people left to him, his brother Aberforth and sister Ariana. Strange how he didn't mention that other brother, Aurelius, who he shipped off to America that ended up joining Grindelwald. Wouldn't that be a juicy rumor for Rita Skeeter to write something nasty about? But we never hear about it. And let us not forget that Dumbledore's duel with Grindelwald was highly publicized. After all, it even ended up on the Chocolate Frogs cover. If Dumbledore's brother played any significant role on either side, he would have surely been mentioned. So, not only there is no mention or any hint of another Dumbledore sibling in the Harry Potter books, but Credence's birth is quite hard to fit into the timeline. According to his birth certificate, he was born after Percival ended up in Azkaban and Kendra died. There is no specific date for Percival's death, but we know he never left Azkaban, not lasting long after his imprisonment. So it would be very difficult, not to say impossible, for Credence to be Dumbledore's true sibling. Leaving the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows aside, even younger Dumbledore from the Fantastic Beasts acts as if he doesn't think or know Credence is his brother. What we know about Dumbledore in general is that he is a very private person, curious, exceptionally capable, with a wide network of colleagues and acquaintances. When Dumbledore talks to Newt before his mission to Paris, he is dismissive about the rumor of Credence being Corvus Lestrange V. After all, Dumbledore is one of the rare people able to piece the puzzle, because he had seen Leta's Bogart. When he confronts Leta during her visit to Hogwarts, it is clear he knows about her brother's fate. So, a curious person such as Dumbledore, Aware that Credence might not be a Lestrange, with Nicholas Flamel perfectly placed to confirm his doubts by just popping down to the local ministry, knowing that Grindelwald is interested in the boy, doesn't try to find out who Credence really is? That is even stranger if Dumbledore was the one that sent Aurelius into exile, as Grindelwald would have us believe. Wouldn't he then know about the shipwreck and, suspecting a baby swap, double-check what happened to his baby brother? Moreover, if Grindelwald is capable enough to find out Credence's true identity while pursued by a host of Aurors wherever he goes, Dumbledore is surely his match with his host of friends and informants. Not to mention, for a private person such as Dumbledore, he would surely see his brother's return as a private matter and wanted to handle it himself. Knowing that an obscurus can be remedied by a connection with a true sibling, as he tells Newt, wouldn't he want to help his brother? From that perspective, his actions could not be interpreted as moving against Grindelwald, and the blood pact wouldn't matter. Taking all of the above into consideration, we can surely suppose Dumbledore knows Credence's true identity, and that identity is not Aurelius Dumbledore. But why on earth would we suppose Credence Barebone is a Dumbledore in the first place? Because Grindelwald told Credence so? To put it simple, Grindelwald lies. Occasions are too many to list. He lies to Credence in the first movie to use him to get to the Obscurial. He lies about Newt and Tina in an attempt to get them executed. He lies to the wizards at the gathering to paint Aurors in a bad light. The important point is, his lies tend to have a purpose. So, is there some purpose in lying to Credence about being a Dumbledore? Of course. Credence needs to continue feeling miserable and rejected to keep his obscurus dangerous and useful to Grindelwald, and he needs to be set against Dumbledore. Telling him he is Aurelius accomplishes both. The beauty of it is, Grindelwald, as someone who knew the Dumbledore family well, sounds very credible. On the other hand, Dumbledore will not be able to say, "Yes, you are my brother," if Credence ever comes knocking, so more rejection and confusion will ensue, and we are just one obscurial episode away from getting rid of Grindelwald's greatest obstacle. But why does it have to be Credence? Why is Grindelwald so insistent on him? After witnessing a showdown in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, it would be strange if he wasn't. Credence is special. Not because his name, but because he is super powerful. In the first movie, Grindelwald wants an obscurus to start the war between wizards and muggles. He learns from Newt that he will need a host for it as well. He uses Credence to find the obscurial, not realizing that Credence is the one. He even insults Credence, telling him he is a squib, useless and unteachable. When Credence's powers are revealed, he abruptly changes his mind. He needs to get Credence to his side, and best way to do that is to give Credence what he desires the most, an identity. For Grindelwald, it doesn't matter who Credence really is. He is just a disposable tool, a host to the obscurus he really wants, now fit for purpose of defeating Albus Dumbledore. Part 2. Who is Credence Barebone? That is the question. Unless Credence really was just a random baby, and if he needs to be someone's brother, then it would make most sense for Credence to be a Scamander. His age fits, it would not be strange for Newt to have a younger brother, especially if we know Lita had a brother of the same age. We don't know much about Newt's family other than his mother's occupation and his complicated relationship with his older brother Theseus, so there seems to be no obvious obstacle for Credence to be a part of his family as well. Credence is shy and withdrawn, very sensitive to other people's suffering. He protects his sister Modesty from their mother, he unleashes his obscurus upon seeing Grindelwald beat Newt in the subway, he frees Nagini and escapes with her. He has trouble keeping eye contact. He is very similar to Newt in this respect. Newt is also caring and shy. The only difference is Newt is self-confident while Credence is insecure. Another interesting hint is the fact that Credence can somehow contain his obscurus. Only other person that we ever see do anything similar is Newt, with an obscurus neatly packed in his incredible suitcase. But the similarities do not end there. Fantastic Beasts are attracted to Newt, and he is skilled in dealing with them, and the same is true of Credence. After all, the first job he finds is in the circus, caring for the kappa, extremely dangerous beast, if we are to believe Newt's book. He also befriends Nagini. Considering she changes to her snake form every night and he survived without getting strangled or swallowed, we can suppose she liked him quite a bit. Another curious instance is how the scene of Credence caring for a phoenix chick parallels the scene of Newt caring for a raven chick. Being good with beasts could run in the family. Phoenix showing up for a Dumbledore in need could still hold true, but Credence seemed fine and the bird could be just like any other fantastic beast, drawn to his kindness. If we also accept the arguments for Dumbledore being aware of Credence's true identity, then we have another link. Dumbledore believes Credence can be cured of his obscures if he finds a real sibling, and that is why he sends Newt to him. But why would Dumbledore not tell Newt the truth of his younger brother? Well, Dumbledore is big on withholding information. He is also notorious for being somewhat manipulative, as evidenced by his behavior towards Newt. When sending Newt to New York, he goes a roundabout way telling him of the Thunderbird, instead of just telling him he needs a good man there to check Grindelwald. After all, he pulls a similar stunt with Harry years later, leaving just breadcrumbs to follow, instead of flat out telling the boy what he needs to know. Probably he wishes to protect Newt from hurt in case there is no way of saving Credence, or he believes he should not be the one spilling the beans, just like in the case of Lita's brother. No matter his reasons, it wouldn't be out of character for Dumbledore to keep quiet. Part 3. How does this theory fit into the story and why is it so cool? If we look at this theory from the meta perspective of character development, Fantastic Beasts Dumbledore doesn't differ much from the Harry Potter Dumbledore. His character development already happened through the hardships of his youth, as he himself points out to Harry on the King's Cross station. With that in mind, this long-lost brother storyline is destined to fall flat. After all, Dumbledore already has a perfect foil in these movies in the character of Gellert Grindelwald, who is a figure that prominently features in Dumbledore's troubled past as well. It would be most unwise to mess with the canon regarding the Dumbledores by adding another brother, considering Dumbledore family storyline is complete with its plot twists and payoffs. And we can just imagine how cool it would be if Credence, bewildered, facing Dumbledore, denied yet another identity, unleashes his full power, only to be countered by Fawkes, a phoenix he raised, now come to aid of the true Dumbledore in need. We all expect a big Dumbledore-Grindelwald showdown. Aurelius thrown into the mix just muddies the waters. Wouldn't it be way cooler if instead a sort of symmetry is established, Dumbledore and Grindelwald playing a game of chess with the fate of Wizarding World at stake, each using his own Scamander brother, Newt and Credence, as a pawn? And after all, Credence is a greater challenge for Newt to save than Dumbledore to defeat. And even directorial choices provide hints. A camera shift while Grindelwald talks about Credence's brother could be yet another fake-out, just like in the case of Lita's infamous I love you scene. Newt was again hanging in the background of the shot. At the end of the last movie, Tina's remark about Lita's reading choices sets the stage for Lita Lestrange's storyline, just like Lita's I love you will bring to fore complicated relationships in the Scamander family in the next instance of the story. Since Scamander family plotline needs resolution, it wouldn't be out of place for Credence to be somehow involved as well. In conclusion, if we know something about characters in Harry Potter universe is that they grow from losses. Dumbledore loses his sister, Harry loses Sirius, Snape loses Lily, Voldemort loses his nose. It then stands to reason that a loss is in store for Newt as well. We know he won't be losing Tina, given the info about their long and happy marriage. We could argue he lost Lita, but throughout the crimes of Grindelwald, he seemed very much over her, even replacing her picture with that of Tina in his case. The loss, if one is in store, has to hit much closer to home. What about the brother he couldn't save? Of course, this same reasoning might spell trouble for Theseus in the future installment, and a betrayal could be in store for our unsuspecting hero as well. Maybe his assistant Bunty, a woman spurned, perfectly placed to wreak havoc with one thing Newt loves the most, his beasts. What is exciting is that the story has a lot of potential and we have 3 more movies to look forward to.